What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very, very special edition of Rockin Robbie Live, where I am joined by my compadres, Jelani and Brooks. What's up, Jelani? How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good to be here.
I like your setup. We can actually see that you have some toys.
Yeah, I'm very glad that I could move my situation around where I could do this.
Yeah,
I like sitting in my room. This is my desk game. So.
I feel like that was a missed opportunity for Eddie Murphy and Rick James to work on a song called "Improve My Situation" or "Move My Situation" or whatever. That'd be cool. Move my situation. Anyway, speaking of moving situations, what's up, Brooks? How you doing?
So, sorry.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever had people join me for the Sunday night show. So
I'm excited.
It had to be you two because you
First
guys,
appearance.
you guys are my best friends through thick and thin.
Thick and thin. We'll always be together.
Best
Friends
forever.
forever.
Anyway, now there's plenty of others we could have brought on. Other best friends, Hammer Time Holshoe, Mike the Voice Matthews. We could have asked Jay Strick. He wouldn't have showed up. It doesn't matter anyway.
Well, if you're going to do it for the first time, you should do it the best first, you know.
That's right.
Well, how about the idea of the two cats that are there every week with me on PCP movie night, right? You know, and we're taking a 2-week break, which, you know, we enjoy the breaks. It is Friday night, but could not be more excited for Horror Fest coming up. Seriously. Like, I'm so freaking pumped. Oh my God.
You finished Hellraiser Judgment last night.
Damn, you're speeding through them, bro.
I'm done. I watched
usually I watch one a night. They're pretty short. They're only like an hour and a half. So.
I'm only 6 through the re-watch, and I have never seen 9 and 10. And I'm really, really nervous. But I think I will revisit the first one, maybe 2, maybe 3 again before it's all said and done. But we got a fantastic lineup for Horror Fest. So everybody, just so you know, no bells and whistles tonight. We have a few bells. We have a few whistles. And to be honest, Jelani and Brooks are bells and whistles enough, right? But I haven't gotten my DC comics yet, still at the shop, so there's no DC sneak peek. But we will be going through what would have been on the weekly pop culture wrap-up had I done one this week. So we'll be going through that a little bit. We'll be doing a little bit of show and tell towards the end of the program, and we'll be answering your questions. And of course, we'll be talking about Horror Fest. So we've already talked about it real quick. So let's do the Horror Fest bit. See, so there's the lineup. Lots of movies. Lots of movies. And I'm really excited. So by the way, the 9/17 poll winner was 28 days later.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that.
By far.
That's good.
It was 28 days later. And then the poll for October 8th, which is our Joe Corallo poll. So that's 6 movies chosen by comic book writer and editor. And we can call him a YouTuber as well. He's all over the place. You can find him on Comics by Perch. You'll find him over at Thinking Critical. You'll find him here at PCP. So Joe has picked 6 movies that are, I mean, I researched a little bit. They're random as fuck, bro. There's like there's this one. It's like, you can find it on YouTube. It's called Crocodile Fury. Like,
Crocodile Fury.
I watched just a little bit of it, and it was
like a crocodile with an eye patch and a leather jacket.
No, but it was this like really hastily thrown together crocodile that was just like goring the fuck out of people, bro. Just like blood and guts. But it was it's either a Mexican or a Spanish it's a film from a foreign country. It's a foreign film, and it's just so freaking random. But there's plenty. By the way, that poll is up in the PCP Army right now on Facebook. Join the PCP Army if you're on Facebook. And right now, immediately out the gate, Satan's Little Helper is the lead in the poll. And if you watch the trailer for that, you'll that's a weird stretch of a movie. So,
oh my goodness,
yeah, it's good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, overall, Jelani, what are you? And by the way, you out there, this show is, of course, we got some plans, some things we want to do. We will be doing the What If, where we talk about What If for episode 2, the T'Challa episode, which I waited till today to watch because I didn't want to cry, you know? Like, I mean, didn't want to cry for Chadwick Boseman's final performance as T'Challa, but I watched it. We got some thoughts, but this show is fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. So get them out right now. What do you want to talk about? Hell yeah. So, Jelani, overall, though, you pumped for this Horror Fest lineup?
Yeah, man. I like all your choices. Hellraiser was a little painful to get through in parts, but it's the suffering, so it's worth it. So I like 28 Days Later. Thank you for that the fan poll of 28 Days Later. I've seen that probably 10 times. I love how it's paced. I love everything about that movie.
I've seen it 28 times.
28 times. Good times. But I can't wait for this poll. Like, the next poll coming, I want to see that one too. This is going to be a good horror fest. We're doing it for like a good solid 2 months.
It's 2 months, but the Joe Crowley poll is the last poll because we just had to fill it up with so many bangers. So we're only doing 2 polls. But along with what Dylan's doing, we got a really good lineup. What do you think, Brooks? You excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always up for some new experiences. You know?
How many of those movies have you never seen?
Probably most of them.
I
I've
figured.
seen 28 Days Later.
You seen Fright Night?
Yeah, I've seen Fright Night.
Nice, we're doing that. You've seen Evil Dead, obviously.
Yeah, I've seen.
You've seen The Howling, right?
I've never seen The Howling.
Ooh,
really?
That's a treat.
I've seen actually very few werewolf movies.
You've seen Suspiria, though, right?
Yeah,
we're watching Suspiria. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
the
still
original.
Need to, why are you not talking about the Jacob? I know you don't like that the remake. I get it, but it's good, man. I love that movie.
I get it. I mean, people really like it. I love the score. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just got to watch it again, man. I guess I don't
watch it again. I know it's a little slow, man. I know it's paced,
so
but
fucking like
it's
obvious.
got a backdrop.
It
has a backdrop, which is a character in that film.
It's so obvious about the witch stuff. Like, I think it's weird. No, I
love Suspiria.
Well, I think it's weird to say that the original. I think it's
two.
weird to say that the original is subtle in any kind of way, but it is subtle with the idea of the witch stuff. Like the witch stuff is, I mean, there is the exposition.
Boom, they're witches.
But I don't know. I need to watch again. Jamie really liked it, so I mean, I know a lot of people. Dude, the score by Tom York's amazing. Oh my god, it's great.
It sets the pace for everything in that film, and that all is well. You know, and it's a lot to talk about, but yes, I love our poll. I mean, not the poll. I love this lineup. It's exactly what we need to watch. I've seen all these movies, so I cannot wait to talk about them again.
Kurt says, Fright Night, must watch for Halloween. It's a Halloween classic. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart says, it's okay to cry. We know that. Sometimes Jelani cried watching 10 Hellraiser films over the last couple weeks, I'm sure. Fargate says, you guys need to watch Cemetery Man. That's definitely one that we plan on covering at some point. Figure Drawing says, good werewolf movie, Dog Soldiers. You know, I've heard that, but I've never actually seen it. Sorella says, really, I remember liking the Howling movie. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Not the second one, the first one.
Right, I like the second one enough. You know,
really?
My sister's a werewolf or whatever the hell.
That was a lot of work.
I like it because of 2 reasons.
A lot of weird
we could really say 3 reasons.
Uh-huh.
Number 1, Christopher Lee. Number 2, it's just ridiculous. Number 3, huge tracts of land. Let's just say that.
They couldn't even get D. Wallace. Just get D. Wallace.
Of course not. And they completely undo the ending of the previous film. Where, like, at the end of the first film, well, we don't want to ruin it.
Oh, sorry, no spoiling.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin it for Brooks. But really, you don't ever need to watch any Howling sequel unless you were just like that guy who's like, it's Friday, Saturday night, super late. I've been drinking. I've exhausted myself in all these horror films. What about Howling Part 3 or 4? You know what I'm saying? Like, sure.
Okay.
That's how I got into them.
Okay, I get it. I watched The Howling for the first time, like on HBO, as a kid, and that that bothered me. That's
The Howling's a great film, man. It's a werewolf film filmed at the same time, same year, and released the same year as American Werewolf in London. Mm-hmm. It's those 2 films still to date have the best werewolf transformations ever filmed, practically or with CG. And the very next night on Dylan's Horror Show, we're covering American Werewolf in London. And that's going to be a fun show as well. I'm really pumped that this year we got it. This is the biggest horror fest yet. So it's going to be cool. I don't know, Twitch. Twitch says, is Jelani's mic on his headset not working? Because it sounds like he's using the computer mic. I don't know. That's a question you got to ask. 62's in the house. What's up, everybody? Anybody got a question? Anything you want to ask the three of us while we're here? Right now, we're just talking about Horror Fest. But I got a bit here. Okay. Marvel announced that they're doing a Thing miniseries. You know, Ben Grimm, The Thing. It's written by Walter Mosley with artwork by Tom Riley. I'm not familiar with their work. I am familiar with Ben Grimm's work, so I'm pumped to I get, another Thing miniseries. That's fine. Star Wars Crimson Reign by Charles Soule and Steve Cummings. This is following up the current War of the Bounty Hunters thing. And then Hawkeye, Kate Bishop by Marike Nijkamp and Enid Balam. Not familiar with those creators either, but I want to know what your think is on this. Jelani, what do you think about it? First of all, are you reading is anybody here reading any Star Wars comics?
No, I've been reading them.
Are you reading them all, Brooks?
Yeah, most of them. I think, I read Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, Star Wars.
Are they good? And are they good? And what are the better ones, I would say? Like, what's the best ones? Which ones are clunkers? And how's this whole event going?
I think they're pretty middle of the road right now. Like,
was
I like
Darth Vader
Dr.
good?
Aphra a lot. Darth Vader's always been good, but this whole deal with the War of the Bounty Hunters thing that really gets me is why is Han Solo's frozen body so fucking important to all these people? And now Darth Vader's coming to reclaim him, and he's the one who gave him to Boba Fett. It's like now all of a sudden, Han Solo's frozen carbonite body is the most important thing in the galaxy, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty interesting story. I mean, it's got a lot of action, a lot of characters, playing off each other. Boba Fett's he's confronted with Leia and Chewie it's been pretty good so far. I mean, I'm interested to see how it is. I just think it's kind of weird that they put such importance on a frozen Han Solo.
Yeah, and Fargate has mentioned that there's a big bounty, and that makes sense why so many bounty hunters would be after it. But why is Darth going back? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It just seems like it's one of those. Somebody at Marvel, some editor was like, they never told the story of what happened when Boba Fett 2 took Han Solo's carbonite form to Jabba the Hutt. And other people were probably in the room and going, because it was a boring story. He just fucking flew there in a spaceship. And they're like, yeah, but what if?
What if it got stolen? And they were throwing an option. We'll get the chick from the Solo movie in there.
So does the idea of Crimson Reign give you any, how that's going to spin out of War of the Bounty Hunters, or is that just unclear?
I assume it's probably going to have something to do with the whole Crimson Dawn coming back thing. Like maybe Kara's putting together, maybe her trying to reform Crimson Dawn fails, so she has to pivot and try something new. Maybe that's my the best I can think of.
I personally really like the Kate Bishop character as Hawkeye, and I think that the Kelly Thompson run was fantastic. So I'm always pumped for that character to come back, but I'm not familiar with these creators. And of course, The Thing, I'm not familiar with the creators, but I am a fan of the characters. I'll definitely check those out. Any thoughts on Kate Bishop as Hawkeye, and are you pumped up for the new show, Jelani?
Yeah, I'm very excited for the new show. I want to see how that ending in Black Widow plays out in that show, if that happens. I'd love to see the Dark Avengers. That would be fantastic. But I love Kate Bishop in that. I love her action figure. It's behind me somewhere. And I like how the torch is being passed like this. So I've never read her comics. But I really love that the fact that we're gonna get like a Lady Hawkeye Archer character, and I'm sure it'll be cool and gritty as far as a TV show. So I'm pretty excited.
I really like Kate Bishop, and that love came from the Matt Fraction run in particular. Of course, she was in Young Avengers and all that stuff. But Young Avengers I thought was all right. It had some great artwork, Jim Chung, but the story never quite grabbed me as much. But when she was introduced in that Fraction run, which I'm assuming they're going to lean heavily into, but it's also so far removed. The actual, like, that Matt Fraction Hawkeye, Clint Barton, is so far removed from the MCU version. Like, this is a Hawkeye Clint that's got a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, this
isn't he deaf or something?
This is what they don't even reference that anymore. But you know,
Okay.
but the dynamic between him and Kate was really, really fun. And then Kelly Thompson in her run did a really good job of making Kate like a solo character. But since then, the character's just kind of been floundering around for me. But it is what it is. What about you, Brooks? Any thoughts on? Are you excited for a Thing miniseries? You gonna check it out?
Yeah, I probably will. I mean, I like the Thing, and I've read I think the last Thing miniseries I can recall was the Thing Freak Show, and that was like way back in like the mid 2000s or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess the closest we've had since then has been the Marvel 2-in-1 when there wasn't a Fantastic Four book. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll check it out.
The dark times when the Fantastic Four was gone.
Yes, the dark times.
Yeah.
Kirby says, speaking of Horror Fest, have any of you all watched The Wolf House? It's a stop-motion horror movie, and it's incredible. I have not. Anybody yet?
Never heard of it. I'll look it up now.
I bet if me and Jelani has never seen it, I bet Brooks hasn't.
Yeah.
All right. Mark from Geeks Unleashed. Yeah, Station.
Hey, Mark.
I just filmed
I'm impressed. He wakes up at 3.
It's like super early, right? I
Early
mean,
in the
like
morning.
late or late, I should say. He probably hasn't gone to bed yet.
Oh, okay.
But I just recorded a podcast with Mark and Jasmine over at Geeks Unleashed. That will be up, I think, August 29th. Mark says, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer got leaked earlier today, which means the actual trailer must be around the corner. Anyone watch the leak? I couldn't. I didn't see the leak, but I definitely read about it. And so now that it's been leaked and all the stuff is out, I'm pretty certain that the plan was to release it along with Shang-Chi. I hate that I said Shang-Chi. It's Shang-Chi, but that's what they're saying in the damn fucking commercials is Shang-Chi. And it's like retraining me like the Ra's al Ghul versus Ra's al Ghul. No, it's
Like I did that in
Shang-Chi.
the last Airbender movie too, where they changed the main character's name from Aang to Ong for no reason.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's just maybe that like sounds like better. I don't know. Like Ong sounds more regal than Aang. Yo, what's up with Aang? Yo, what's up with Aang? Anyway, but I definitely checked out. And it basically, if you read the leaks, or the leaks kind of seem to confirm a lot of what we thought was going to happen already. So it's not that surprising. But I'm ready to see this damn trailer. You know, we used to complain that they release trailers too soon. Now I'm complaining that they don't release them soon enough because I'm like, Spider-Man's in December. Like, why do we just get a good or a more decent Eternals trailer? Like, why do we just get that? Like,
just that. Why couldn't they have done that like the first trailer so I'd understand what's going on? Just tell me a story. You're just giving me visuals. Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in for that.
Twitch says Jelani's figure game is on point.
Thank you.
Kurt says Trick or Treat is a must watch. The one with Gene Simmons. Oh, and Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, that's something. Wait, we got the Cerebros in the house. Station. We got Philip in the house. What's up, everybody? Let me drop down, see if anybody said anything. I saw the leaked trailer, and it confirms 100% that Brooks is an alien. I love when I don't realize that I'm reading a bit until I'm like halfway through, and I realize it's about to be a bit, and it's just great. It's just great. What's up, Hammer Time Holshoe?
Yeah, buddy. We need to hang out one day.
Say what says, pardon my rudeness, Station, everyone. Just finished watching the leaked trailer. All right. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The Spider-Man movies, well, I'd say the first Spider-Man movie, Homecoming, I really, really liked. I think it's one of the better MCU films. That's just me personally. I think it's the best Spider-Man film. That's just me personally. The second one, what was that? Far From Home?
Yeah, far
Yeah,
from home.
that one was okay. That one was just kind of okay.
I love Mysterio. I love that movie. I really do.
Well, apparently one of the leaked things in the trailers that they showed that they just kind of, I don't know, I want to get into it. Don't want to get into it. All right, other comic book news that we would have covered in the weekly pop culture wrap up. Cullen Bunn's got a new series at Aftershock, which is not much of a shock because Cullen Bunn's just had book after book after book. It's called Heathens, and Heathens is about people that escape hell and the people that are then tasked to go and bring them back. That's a cool concept, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what the Cenobites do. They're always like trying to get somebody who got away.
Well, it's not that. No, it's just Frank was the only one that got away.
Yeah.
And the
like
reason
ever.
is it was a very particular sequence of events that happened. If you have read The Hellbound Heart and you've watched Hellraiser and you just know the deal, if you know the jazz, right? Very specific things had to happen for Frank to escape hell. Number one, blood had to be spilled in the place where he was gotten. And the second one was that an orgasm had to happen in the place where he was gotten. And just so happens, that's why there's that weird scene. We'll get into this in a couple of weeks when Horror Fest starts.
Sexual imagery.
But she looks at the pictures and shit, and she's like, oh,
right.
like, what the fuck? Yeah, and maybe something even particular that it was his brother's blood,
Yeah.
And I don't know, but that's interesting.
So if Frank, what's his name? That never cut his hand, then none of that would have happened.
Yeah, I guess so. The Andy Robinson character.
Yeah.
Croak is a new one from Aftershock by Paul Tobin and Andy McDonald. It's about this group of people that realize they can weaponize dreams, and when they do so, like a portal opens into the dreamscape, and all these nightmares get loosed into the world. Sounds cool, right?
That does sound cool.
Guillaume March has got a book from Ablaze. It's going to be an English translation of a former work of his called Laura and Other Stories. Power Rangers Universe. It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries from Boom Studios with no writer announced. I'm pretty sure we can figure out why. But it's basically about the Phantom Ranger. I think I'm really the only one reading Power Ranger books right here. So sure, let's check that out. My Bad is a superhero satirical book from Mark Russell from Ahoy. New Burn is the new Chip Zdarsky book from Image. Then we got Girl Scouts coming back from Jim Mahfood. Y'all remember Jim Mahfood, right?
Years and years ago.
And y'all remember Girl Scouts a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. His style's completely changed. It's gone. It's like the Jim Mahfood version of Bill Sienkiewicz now. It's such a weird stretch.
Wow.
But it works. And I'm kind of excited for that. Then we got Matt Rosenberg and Tyler Boss doing a kid's book called What's the Furthest Place from Home? It's a graphic novel. We got NYX. No, that's Nyx. My bad. Nyx from Christos Cage and Mark Borstel. That's a Vampirilla villain getting her own series from Dynamite. I've looked at some of those covers. Whew. Whew. Fox and Hare is a cyberpunk story from John Sway and Vault, as well as Lunar Room coming from Vault, which is written by Danny Lord. And it's a werewolf movie or a werewolf book, as Danny should definitely write werewolf book. Then there's the Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Barty, which is Christopher Cantwell and Luca Casalanguida. Very excited for that. Also, speaking of Dynamite and steamy covers, we got Sheena coming back by Stephen Mooney and Jethro Morales, I believe. And Joy Operations. Bendis has now found a new home at Dark Horse. He's moving all of his Jinx World stuff to Dark Horse, and he's doing all of his books there now. So DC got him away from Marvel and then shunted him off to Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. Away. Away
Dark Horse needs a book, so it needs a boost. So maybe Bendis can be that boost, right? Right?
We'll see.
All right, here's one I really want to get into, though. So we've recently had this whole new thing where we know that comic book properties get picked up sometimes for TV shows or movies, right? Well, one sure way to get your comic book property picked up is to have a celebrity attached to it, right? So you've got Berserker from Boom Studios with Keanu Reeves, right? That's obviously going to get made with Keanu Reeves. We've got Mother of Madness by Emilia Clarke from Image Comics. And if that ever got picked up, which is probably likely, I'm sure Emilia Clarke's going to be in it. Now we got a new one called Phenom X from Image Comics, written or co-written and co-concepted by John Leguizamo as superhero. What do you think about that, Jelani?
I don't know. He's like hit and miss in certain stuff, man. John Wick, he's on point, but he was also the clown in Spawn, so he's got a range. I guess.
Yeah, he's got a range.
That is a range.
Let me see if I can pull up an image.
Mario.
Yeah.
He's already been a superhero.
Good, yeah. In a terrible, terrible film.
Dude, that movie.
I was so mad that was what the movie was when I was a kid. I
actually liked it as a kid, despite how weird it was.
Dinosaurs
I think because it was so odd and weird.
I like that movie because, I mean, I don't know what they were trying to fucking do, but I just appreciate that weird-ass stretch of a movie. I'm glad that we live in the one reality where we got that movie. Because there's a place where they got a really good Mario movie that went for like 20 years, right, of sequels and shit, right? But like, all right, now before I asked you about this John Leguizamo thing, I should have made sure to show you the image of the cover to give you a little bit more of an idea of what we may get on screen. As you can see there.
He's got, what is that?
Yeah, that's John Leguizamo.
Pass.
Superhero. I don't know.
Nope, pass.
What about you, Brooks? What do you think?
I don't know. Is John Leguizamo that ripped?
I mean, will he be? I think maybe they're going to give him a similar suit to that they gave Robert Townsend in Meteor Man.
Mm-hmm. So they can get him like the foam abs.
Yeah, like the muscles are already built in and shit.
Like what's his name from The Boys? Homelander.
Or George Michael from Arrested Development when he's wearing.
The Atom suit.
Yeah, John Leguizamo, man. Wow, that's cool.
Okay, buddy. I mean, all right.
I'll read it.
Do you, brother? Do you?
I'll read it. John says that cover's terrible. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The Tyler Boss and Matt Rosenberg book, What's the Furthest Place from Home, is actually got soundtrack that goes along with it. So that's interesting. Mark says, loved Bendis' new Avengers, Alias, Daredevil, even loved all of his all-new X-Men and Uncanny. Read Volume 1 of Powers, wasn't too hot on that, but it was passable. I loved his Powers run up to a point. Love his original 90s stuff, like before Powers. I'm talking about Goldfish, Torso, and Jinx. We'll be talking about one of those soon. Not soon, but we'll be talking about one of those in the next several months on Comics Revisited. So Fable says Mario was probably my first movie disappointment as a kid.
Yep.
My actual first disappointment was Masters of the Universe that I can remember.
I wasn't.
But I didn't care as much. But like I remember being disappointed that like there was no Orko and that they were on Earth. Like that kind of disappointed me, right? John says he has a range and I really like him, but he is getting old. Yeah.
He is not ripped enough for that costume. That Jupiter's Legacy show is proof that you can't make costumes. Those costumes look atrocious. Like a 10-year-old made them. But it depends on how they do this. I don't know. I don't like that costume at all. Like, I don't know, it's too purple or something.
It looks generic.
Yeah.
It just looks generic. It looks like some random guy in some random fucking video game, you know?
I'm not trying to be pessimistic about it. It's just, no.
I mean, maybe the comic book is really good. And I'm like, I hope they make this movie with John Leguizamo. I mean, if people are stoked for Michael Keaton to put on a fucking Batman costume, why not John Leguizamo putting on that rejected costume from Vibe from Flash season 4? I don't know. Whatever. Word is that they're doing a Black Canary movie, and Jelani can help me out here, but it's Misha Green, right?
Is she the one from Birds of Prey?
Well, Misha Green the name of the actor? Or is that the writer? I thought that was the writer.
Who's the writer?
That's the writer. It's Julie Smollett or something.
Julie Smollett. She was the one in.
It sounds interesting. I'd be down for it.
Did you like Black Canary in that Birds of Prey movie?
Yeah, I did. I really actually liked Birds of Prey a lot more than I thought I was going to into it.
I did too.
because like I thought it was marketed very much as a Harley Quinn movie, and Harley Quinn is kind of one of those characters that can go either way for me. But most of the time, I find her to be pretty obnoxious and annoying. But I think that movie was actually really funny, and I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I expected to.
Yeah, me too. I actually wasn't annoyed by Harley in there. It made me appreciate egg breakfast sandwiches even more.
Yeah.
And I really
They're
liked
delicious.
how they did their interpretations of these characters a little bit differently. Now, the Cassandra interpretation, I thought, like, don't even just make that any random ass fucking person, not Cassandra, right? Like,
Yeah.
because that's
That
not
should be Batgirl.
that's not Cassandra
she's-
Cain. Okay, but like, I loved what they did with Huntress, because Huntress on film could wind up just being a cliche. But they did something different where they put this like humorous tone to her that you don't normally get. And I'm a huge Helena Bertinelli fan, right? Like the post-crisis version of Huntress. That's my Huntress. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was cool. And Black Canary, that was the first time I saw her in a role, and I was just like, well, she can act, but she's also not too bad on the eyes. What do you think about that news, Jelani?
Oh yeah, I'm excited, and I totally watched that, especially through Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country was amazing, and Journey she's a fantastic singer as well. So
is she actually singing in that?
She's actually singing that.
Wow.
So I need for her to like project. This is going to be a great opportunity for her, and with Misha Green on top of that, gosh, I love Lovecraft Country. I just watched that like I think last month. I had to watch it on HBO Max again, man. It's so good.
Yeah, Mark, if you've only seen the pilot, she's better in like as that show progresses. Hey, we got Mike in the house.
Hey, Mike.
Lovecraft Country was great. I remember I seen a bunch of people lamenting that they weren't going to do any more and that Green had ideas on where the story could go. But I do think that sucks that a good show isn't getting renewed when so many shit shows are getting renewed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they hit the source material at the end.
But at the same time, like, it's a complete story. It's kind of like Watchmen. I was like, I'm happy with no Watchmen season 2. Like, I would be very scared actually of a Watchmen season 2, to be honest. So yeah, I don't have faith in them. I have faith in Hollywood and the movie production studios and cable and shit like that, all these places. I have faith that sometimes they will ass backwards find themselves into a success, but I do not trust them so much to continue success once they realize they've had it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's almost like why was it popular? What if we did the opposite of that? That would be different, right?
Yeah.
There's a way to do different and do whatever, but there you go. Let's see. Brett had asked us a question. Do you like movies about gladiators? Brooks, do you like movies about gladiators?
Yeah, well, I love Gladiator, and I really like
the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
The boxing movie.
But another Gladiator thing I liked was the Sam Raimi Spartacus show that he did a while back with like Blood and Sand and Gods of the Arena and all that.
I never watched.
That was a really good show.
Okay.
I watched like the first episode of that, and I was like, this is just meant to be like a more hardcore, cheaper version of 300. But is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a pretty good story. Like, it has its moments, its uncomfortable moments, but that's just part of the I guess, charm of it in a way.
Okay. Speaking
that's
of,
kind of like that's how things were pretty fucked up back then. No point in trying to sugarcoat it,
Speaking of uncomfortable charm, Jelani, what do you think about? Do you like gladiator movies?
I mean, they're all right. I like Gladiator. I love that movie. And then there's Ben-Hur. It's pretty decent.
Spartacus, the Kubrick film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas. Yeah.
I am Spartacus. That's pretty awesome. Those are the only ones I can really think of that I would like have remembered watching. I like medieval time, or not medieval times, but I like period pieces. So yeah, throw a tiger at someone.
Yeah, I like. I like Ridley Scott's Gladiator. That's probably the one that I would pick too, as being like my favorite. But I do love the original Spartacus. I think that's actually kind of a tight paced film for Stanley Kubrick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is before too many. People were still telling him no back then. His best paced film ever is The Killing. You guys need to check that one out if you never have. Good heist film. Really short and sweet too. But I also do like History of the World Part 1. I'll say that as another bit of gladiator fiction that I like. So that's pretty cool. So apparently, I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but it's pretty heavily reported that Riri Williams, aka Ironheart's, going to be debuting in Black Panther Part 2, Wakanda Forever. What do you think about that?
Wakanda, you think?
I don't know. What do you think, Jelani?
I mean, the way it sounds is it's going to be like the outreach center where Riri's found, and she's like using Stark tech, or she's making her own Stark tech.
So is it like Scientology, where like Wakandans have like this outreach center, and you come in and you touch these pedals,
that's what they were
and you answer
building.
a bunch of questions?
Yeah, check your thetans.
Right. Fire material. Shun your family.
They just like rub a bar of vibranium on you. Anything happens.
I'm glowing.
No, that makes sense. They got this outreach center because in the comic books, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys read this stuff, but like the idea, like Riri got introduced way too quickly. It wasn't really led into very well, but the idea was that like she's this kid. She's obviously a black woman, like a small child, right? And she's genius level. She's kind of in an underprivileged area, but she's super smart. She winds up building her own Iron Man armor and then getting invited to MIT, but she doesn't fit in. And honestly, Eve Ewing did the run Ironheart that I love. The Bendis Ironheart stuff where she took over during the Invincible Iron Man run when Tony died after whatever the hell Civil War II was trying to do. And then Victor became Iron Man, because out of all, and let me just get this off my chest because I held this back in the day. Out of all of the heroes that Victor Von Doom would feel like the need to tribute to by becoming an avatar, it's fucking Tony Stark. Tony Stark is literally the epitome of what Doom disrespects in a fucking man.
Well, it's like they had a weird kind of love-hate thing where Doom like kind of he respects his intelligence, but he also thinks he's like a total buffoon.
Yeah, because he is. But Riri was a cool character when she was done in my opinion, by Eve Ewing in the Ironheart book. I actually really liked that run. I thought she was a cool character. So it makes sense that she gets found in there, but there's a bit that's almost like there's still a bit of me that's going, so you're just adding in Riri now to Black Panther because you're not going to recast T'Challa, which is a mistake, I think. I get it.
It's a good tribute, but find someone to replace him, because that character's not dead. Not only is he not dead, the last time we saw him was in Endgame, where he's alive after being brought back from the dead. So you have to replace him. There's no other way to tell a Black Panther story other than make Shuri it. And I heard Shuri was like getting canceled or something, so they're making that weird.
Yeah, there was something about her. There's something about her. Well, I don't know.
She did some kind of video talking about not wearing masks.
Oh, it was an anti-mask thing. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Like,
she came up really quick.
Yeah, Shuri became Black Panther for a while in the books, but it just didn't, like, I get it, and it could work, but they haven't built Shuri up enough to make me feel like she's Black Panther. I think T'Challa's too important of a character to just let, kind of not be brought back. I mean, there's a whole phase of the MCU they're trying to get us into right now. What do you think about that news, Brooks? Did you read that Iron Man stuff?
No, I've never, I don't know anything about Riri Williams aside from like the fact that she exists and a lot of people don't like her for whatever reason. But I'd be interested in learning some about her. Like, I don't know much about Kamala Khan either, honestly, even though I know she's a very popular character that gotten a lot. I did read some of the early Champions stuff. And that was pretty good. But yeah, I've like absolutely. I'm pretty much a blank slate on Riri so far.
I think Kamala's a really cool character. I really like the majority of her run. For the most part, it's not something that I like keeping up with month to month. But I do think the early day stuff is really good by G. Willow Wilson. And I can't remember the artist name, but he had it's Alfonso or something, had a very interesting style that made it feel different. But I really like that stuff. We occasionally get these like digest graphic novels, and we keep the trades in. And I try to get the Ironheart ones in too, because they actually sell really well to like a middle school age audience in my shop. They're eating up the Kamala stuff, the Riri stuff, the Miles stuff. They don't like Champions, but they love Miles. They love Spider-Gwen. Like they love Spider-Gwen, and it doesn't. And I get it. You know,
it's kind of weird because like back when we were that age, we hated kids that were our age, like the teenage characters. We were like, oh, they're so lame and annoying. Yeah.
Oh, speak for yourself. I was the biggest New Warriors fan, man. Like I loved that shit. Like I loved Tim Drake Robin. Like I love the kids. I love the kids that I thought represented me. So I get that. I understand why people like those characters, like the younger crowd, like those characters today. I get that. So y'all seen the Eternals trailer that we were talking about?
Yeah. I've seen it.
You haven't, Brooks?
I haven't seen any trailers for the Eternals yet.
Well, that's nice. They just released a new one. I mean, honestly, nothing's going to be spoiled for this because here's what's funny. So in the trailer, they talk about like, well, we didn't want to show up during all this other stuff because
we only fight these certain type of demons.
Yeah, right. So they mentioned the deviants, and then they were saying basically that like once Thanos died, it opened up something that could be bigger. And at one point, they show a celestial. Like you see a celestial in the trailer.
Like a real, yeah. And it
bring the dire wraiths back.
People lost their fucking minds. Some people were all over YouTube and social media. They thought that was Galactus. And that was so fucking funny to me. Like all these people just trying to find like some kind of pop culture news. Like Galactus showed up in the new Eternals trailer. Like you're ridiculously dumb. No. Are you serious?
For real?
Well, to be fair, for somebody not familiar with like, Jack Kirby stuff, because like
it's out there.
Yeah, the Celestials do look a lot like Galactus,
No, they
have
don't.
The same kind of
what Celestial has a tuning fork on its fucking head, bro? What Celestial has a tuning fork on its head? Come on, man. I show you the picture of this Celestial, you'll be like, why did anybody think? Now, here's the thing. If you're not familiar, I understand. But if you're not familiar, why are you writing articles for these fucking like these fucking news sites? It's ridiculous. What do you think about the Eternals trailer, Jelani? Did it sell you? I still think it's not Kirby enough.
I think. Well, I mean, it's not going to have that design. They're going to try to do some things, maybe. But I don't think that they want to do functional costumes, not these weird colors and things. So, I mean, I think that if they tell a good story with it, along with these costumes, it won't matter. I mean, just tell me a good story. Get me out there. Get me to Kirby. Like Guardians of the Galaxy brought me to that side of the universe. I didn't like cosmic comic books. I never read Guardians of the Galaxy at all until after I saw that movie. And if I see Eternals and I like it, I will go forward. Because I never watched a day or minute of Inhumans. I refuse. So that was wasted on first of all, ABC. It was wasted on them, and it was wasted on so many other levels because they want to make another X-Men, and that's it. So to see Eternals on this like level, I can't wait to see it. You know what I'm saying? It's as long as you tell me a story that I like, I'm in. And so far, I like the Celestial showing up. That's pretty cool. I like how Thanos. They won't fight because it didn't involve them, so that makes more sense. Yeah, I like that. Hopefully, we'll get another movie, or this branches out into something else. So I'd enjoy like maybe another Turtles movie if we get this one and it tells a good story.
I'm excited to check it out, I guess, but it's just when I look at it, I'm like, it doesn't
It's
look.
bland.
It looks kind of bland, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
look like it
bland.
has that dynamic energy that Kirby brings. And the most Kirby MCU film for me has been Thor Ragnarok, right? And like that movie
I
is
agree.
Kirby through and through, which I think is
The
amazing.
colors,
Yeah, the colors, the
the
costumes,
costumes.
the flamboyance of it.
Yeah.
Like, this one feels like they're trying to capture something again. And they make sure to make it a point in the trailer to show you the humor. And I'm like, bruh, like I know I don't have as much, like out of all the Kirby stuff. I've read all of OMAC, I've read all the Fourth World, I've read every Fantastic Four, I've read the Demon, I've read all this stuff. I have never really dived into the Eternals, right? I just picked up the trade complete collection. I'll be talking about that soon, reviewing it. That makes sense to review it around November, doesn't it? But like nothing about the trailer really, like I was like, it's the one thing I always got in my head about the Eternals is that they're not fucking funny. Like, yeah. And I tried to read the new one and they took that way too seriously and I'm just not into it, but I mean, I'll watch it. It's a Marvel film, you know, but watch it. Yeah. And the Deviants look like, I don't know what they do with the Deviants. The Deviants just look like generic ass. And here's the thing is like, okay, so they didn't come to Random Generic Invasion 1. They didn't show up for Random Generic Invasion 2. They didn't show up for Random Generic Invasion 3, aka the Thanos invasion. And then they didn't come up for another Random Generic Invasion, but they will this one. It's just more like, and it's not even a Skrull invasion or a Kree invasion. It's like the Shatari and all these. Like I don't know. It just feels like more of the same. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, you tell me a good story. I don't care.
I mean, it seems like, and if you watch the trailer, it seems like some of these Eternals were reborn and lived human lives. Like, is that interesting? Do I need the fish out of water type thing? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
And humans did the same thing, from what I'm told.
I never watched that either, bro. And you know, I'm a huge FF Inhumans fan.
I knew what it was being
never
made
watched.
for.
Did you ever read it? Did you ever watch Inhumans, Brooks?
I did not. No, it was on like one of those streaming services I didn't have. So
it was on ABC at first, right? It was on ABC.
Yeah, it was on ABC. It was the first episode was supposed to be shown in theaters and IMAX, and then the rest of them would be shown, of course, as the show itself. And it got canceled like super fast because people were like, "No, we don't want this."
Anybody out there seen Inhumans? Let us know what you think of it.
It is trash to me. Good grief.
All right, here's the news. Anthony Mackie officially apparently signed up to do a new Captain America film. Captain America 4, which they won't call it Captain America 4, obviously, but yeah, we're going to have Falcon Cap having his own movie. I'm rather pumped for that. Yeah. I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier overall had its problems, but overall I thought one of the biggest, strongest bits was the character arc of Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. I absolutely fucking loved it. I loved the costume. It looked great. The way it moved, the way he flew. Like I'm pumped. I'm excited. We'll see now who gets attached to it. What do you think about this news, Brooks?
Well, yeah, I mean, that seems like that is the obvious way for them to go, you know. Steve gave him the shield at the end of Endgame, so, and, you know, in the show with Falcon and the Winter Soldier shows him, you know, finally coming to accept that responsibility. So, like, it would be really weird if they just, like, recast Captain America for the next Cap movie.
Yeah, they're not going to
do like, I just gave the shield away to this guy. He looks more like a Captain America to me.
Yeah.
He had a strong jawline, you know.
He worked, man. I just the one thing I didn't like about the show was like the Flag Smashers. I thought that was like kind of weak, and I really like the U.S. agent stuff. And I thought that Zemo could have been more threatening throughout it and not so jokey. But they did give me some Zemo action that I wanted to see, which was him wearing a purple mask and kicking people and jumping around and being rich and actually a fucking Baron. I didn't ask for the dance scene, but I'll live with it. I'm cool with that. What do you think about Sam Wilson Captain America movie? Jelani, you pumped?
Yeah, I like it because I like how Falcon Winter Soldier is set up so much. Like you set up Dark Avengers going forward. You set up basically whatever. What was the thing that Agent 13 was? What is the power broker?
Power broker, yeah.
Power broker.
Completely different person in the comic books, but
right.
whatever.
Well, they said it was 2 of them, so there's another one out there. So I want to see that dynamic. If they put that in the movie, I don't know. I want to see just cool jump from Sam Wilson, because I loved him as Captain America. That speech at the end when he felt like Captain America, he felt like a hero. There's so many emotional bits in that show that you just enjoy, and I want to see that on screen now. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I'm excited. I'll watch it regardless, but I do want Sebastian Stan in there as
he'll
Bucky.
be there.
I really hope so. And from what I've heard, Marvel Studios has realized that the Power Broker story with Sharon Carter was not very appealing to people. So I've heard that for the most part, they're going to try to drop it real quick.
Really?
But my initial thought was, well, she's the Skrull, because we know Secret Invasion's coming. Right. So Sharon Carter's a Skrull. And everybody picked up on that. And I think Marvel was like, fuck, how did they know? We had this character go completely like bonkers out of character. How do they know that she was a Skrull? We got to change plans. I don't know. So we'll see what they do now. But let's see here. Since Z says, I saw Inhumans. It was trashed through and through. Bad acting, bad visuals, worse than the CW shows. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's strong.
Fable says, I skipped Inhumans, never went back because everyone panned it. Bobby De La Ghetto says, I'll go on record as the only person that liked the Inhuman show. Thank you. I'll show myself the way out.
Never be ashamed for liking something just because everyone hates it.
That's right.
The Tin Man says, Jay Lee Inhumans is awesome. Yes, the Paul Jenkins Jay Lee Inhumans run, 12 issues for Marvel Knights, 1998, 1999. We were all there and we loved it. That's definitely something. We put it on a few Comics Revisited polls. Hopefully it will win this year. We'll see. Inhumans was not that great. And that's from Travis, who really likes them.
I thought he liked me too.
Yeah, he usually likes them. Like, I think he likes CW shows.
Wow. Does he like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? CW.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, by the way. Oh, yeah. Keep going.
They did the IMAX reveal, but I don't think anybody went.
No.
There's like 6 episodes total, and they just never.
We're done.
It's best just let's be honest. Like Kevin Feige never cared about the TV shows until now, until the Disney Plus ones. Those are the only ones that really matter to Kevin Feige. Coulson's still dead.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like
that's how they become the Avengers. I mean,
I didn't watch this trailer, and I'm pretty sure Brooks didn't. But Jelani, did you watch the Star Wars Visions trailer?
I did not. No, I don't know what that is.
Well, it's like this new animated series. It looks like it's going to be like one-shot stories by different like anime inspired or anime directors. So apparently there's a trailer for it that's pretty dope, but I haven't seen it yet.
So these could be like random stories from like across the Star Wars universe or something?
Yeah, like there's one with Boba Fett, and they got the guy who does the voice of Boba Fett there to do it and things like that or something. So
I wonder if they're going to jump around in timelines too in that, I wonder.
I think so, but I mean, like I said, I didn't watch the trailer. Nobody here did, so I shouldn't even brought it up.
It's all good though. I mean, eventually I guess I'll see it. It'll be like a.
Well, now that I know about it, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Watch it. All right, we're about to take a quick break here for Rockin Robbie Live with Jelani and Brooks. But when we come back, we're going to answer a question, and this is the question of the week. I thought about this last night because I was going down a YouTube music hole and some videos popped up, and I was just like, you know what? This was a thought I had at a younger age, and I still stand by this thought. So I'm going to ask you out there in the chat this question. I'm going to have Jelani and Brooks ponder it on the break. And Mike, by the way, says Visions looked dope. That's what I keep hearing. Tim says it as well. Buffy guy looks awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited. Is Carlos Santana's Supernatural one of the absolute best albums of all time? I want to know your thoughts. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live. Hey, we're back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. Tonight's special edition with Jelani and Brooks. So before we left, I asked you a question. I wanted to know, is Carlos Santana's Supernatural one of the best albums of all time? I'm going to see what you out there in the chat had to say. Let's see. Mark has to dip out. See you, buddy. Bobby says, I grew up on Santana and hell yeah. Tin Man says, maybe a top 100. Top 100 albums of all time, though? Like of all the albums in all of human history, that would still work, I think. Babel says, gently caress that like button. I say, smash it. Pop it. Officially Unofficial Geek says it's good, but not the best. I didn't ask if it was the best. I said if it's one of the best. I will go to say that in my lifetime, Carlos Santana is one of the best albums I can think of on so many different levels. And it's because, and Jelani's here with us, Station Jelani. The idea is this, like, it was a classic artist who hadn't really had that level of success for a long time, right? All of a sudden he does, spotlights new artists, spotlights different styles throughout the album, has a lot of like solid hits with a lot of like hit makers of the time. Say what you will. I'm honestly, that's one of those things where like, and I remember it being the first Grammys where they were like, finally the Grammys are back on track with what's going on in music because Carlos's Supernatural, won all the albums, and it wasn't just the new Bob Dylan album or the new fucking Jethro Tull album winning heavy metal over, or hard rock or heavy, whatever over Metallica, shit like that, right? But they were like, finally, they're back on track, just meaning that they're more in line with what the popular stuff is. But I honestly like re-listening to a lot of that stuff last night. I thought it was a brilliant fucking album. Carlos Santana putting his flair, his style. They basically like somebody was just like, we just made this album. Like this is like these are some B-sides. Like this is a song that Everlast. But there's more to it. Like with the Everlast song, which I love, Put Your Lights On. Love that song, right? So the idea is that like Carlos approached Eric Everlast, right? And Everlast was like, well, I wrote this right after my heart attack because if you don't know, like before he did Whitey Ford Sings the Blues, Everlast almost died and had to have like heart surgery, like emergency, and then came back with this new perspective on things. All right. And he did that song. One of the first songs he wrote coming off of that experience was Put Your Lights On. And Carlos added something to it. And then you got you didn't have Wyclef doing the song, but I don't know who was the dudes that were singing during the Maria.
Reminds you of West Side Story.
Yeah, I mean, I like that song. The whole damn album's good, and I don't care what anybody says. Rob Thomas is lyrically solid and vocally solid, so I love the album. I think it's great. What do you think, Jelani? And you out there in the chat, let us know.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard it in years. I owned the CD when it came out. I love Smooth. I mean, it's a poppy song. It was very catchy at the time. I didn't hear that many songs outside of it, but I mean, I heard things here and there. I didn't hear the Everlast song. I really wish I had now. But Carlos Santana's pretty awesome. The fact that it's the greatest album of all time, I don't think so. I mean,
I said one of.
Okay, this is a life work though.
I don't think. No, I don't want anybody
to put Carlos Santana on the map like that again in such a way. You know what I'm saying? It's a great album for like a comeback album.
Nobody else has ever done that. Like Frank Sinatra didn't team up with New Edition and fucking Kid and Play and do an album. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's his name? He did it. I can't remember his name now. The older singer. He would. Oh, gosh, he was like a crooner. I just cannot remember his name now. It escapes me, but he had like collaborations with like tons of artists. Okay. I can't remember his name, but he was popular there for a minute.
Okay.
I can't remember who it is right now.
What was genius to me of that album for its time, was it like 98, 99, something like that, right? Like what genius was that, like
Tony Bennett, yes. Tony
Oh,
Bennett. Sorry.
okay. Well, and
Tony
then
Bennett.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, but that didn't hit the level that this one did.
No,
I mean,
not
this
at
shit
all.
was played
What
on
I'm saying is
MTV,
still,
and you
it
don't
was
remember. You
still-
never heard the ever last one. Hey now, all you sinners, put your lights on. You've heard that.
I think I have
Put your
heard that.
lights on,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's a monster. What I always loved was like all the music videos looked like music videos of the time. So you'd have like people dancing in bright colored clothes, and Santana would just be there like,
videos. Yeah.
what do you think, Brooks? I know you've listened to that album.
Yeah, I don't like Supernatural that much. Like I said, I've never listened to like the whole album, but like all the singles from it, I didn't like really. But I've never been much of a Santana guy, really. Anyway, like I'm more familiar with like his older like classic stuff, like Evil Ways and Black Magic Woman and stuff
Black
like
Magic
that.
Woman,
Yeah.
yeah.
Black Magic Woman is probably the only song of his that I can say I actually like.
That's because that's the one that's on the compilations, greatest hits of the 70s, and shit like that, right?
The Freedom Rock tapes had that one on them. With Smoke on the Water.
I guess because we're talking about Carlos Santana's Supernatural, lots of low
Yeah.
testosterone tonight. But don't worry, bruh. We love our Foghat just as much. In fact, I would say I would have rather have had Foghat collaborate with those artists in 1998, 1999, right? Before the bass player died. I'm the only one here that likes Foghat. I know. It's just the way it goes. Y'all like Foghat too. You know it.
It's your weird stretch, man. It's all good.
You know
Bruh,
it, you just don't know it yet.
it's all tied in. Y'all remember this moment because we used to be MTV whores back in the 90s.
We did. We watched it
That
live.
moment that Jim Carrey showed up for that award show with that long ass fucking hair and the beard and the glasses, and he just goes, "When are we gonna play some Foghat around here?"
Yes.
That was the moment I went, "Who's Foghat?" And then like I started listening to Foghat and I got into it. Right, Slow Ride.
Yeah.
You had like a Foghat phase.
Yeah, I went through a big Foghat phase, and then it also kind of coincided with watching Dazed and Confused for the first
Yeah.
time in my life in high school, and I was just like, Foghat's one of the fucking greatest bands ever. And it's not just Slow Ride. It's not just Making Love to You. It's Honey Hush. It's Take Me to the... I mean, come on. Foghat, y'all. Foghat forever.
You were excited.
And Foghat does have that funk. It's like, what happens if you take, let's just say, damn, I keep trying to think of Southern rock examples, but they're all like Ted Nugent and Leonard Skinner. All right, fuck it. What if you took Ted Nugent and merged it together with Earth, Wind, and Fire? You know what you get? You get Foghat. Like, that's like, I love
You're really
that.
trying to sell the fog hat.
I don't care if anybody, like, what, I mean, who cares? Anyway, Ace of Base. I love me some Ace of Base.
Yeah.
All that she wants is another baby.
It's all the sign.
My sister was like big into Ace of Base back in the day.
Shoot, I like Ace of Base.
I still
my
do.
sister
I miss-
liked
I miss
liked them a
90s
lot, and I hated
R&B
them.
in general. Yeah.
What 90s R&B do you miss in particular, Jelani?
Me?
Yeah.
Boyz II Men, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, Sade. There's so many like R&B singers that I could just think of. Whitney Houston. Shoot, Mariah Carey. I love popular music was R&B. And like I watched Video Soul as a kid with Donna Simpson.
Yeah.
So like it got to me, man. That's my experience anyway. But it expanded, and it was so good for a time. And then we're all mumble rappers now. So
I thought of a song. I was going through the YouTube trap last night, which eventually led me to Carlos Santana.
Mhm.
Supernatural. But one of those, I came across a song that I love and adore, and I know you do. And I figured that it should be the next duet we do for karaoke.
What?
Return of the Mac. Return of
You
the
lied
my
to me
God.
when you said you'd never turn on me.
That would be a good karaoke.
Yeah, we
song.
should do that. So start practicing.
agree.
Start
Yeah.
practicing.
But you did.
You
But
should.
you did.
Yeah, we get Brooks
Man.
involved too. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, man, oh man, we could get in. We need to drag you out so bad, Brooks. It's true. It's true.
I've never seen Brooks do karaoke.
Yeah.
I did it once at some dude's party.
What
It was
song
a
do you do?
Nickelback song though, so I hated it.
Oh, Jesus. Wait. You didn't get to pick your own song? What the fuck is that?
Nah. I think it was Rockstar. I did it in like kind of a mocking Chad Kruger voice. Like I was like, I was making fun of Nickelback. I was singing like how his voice sounds to me. He's like,
No,
It's that pickle in the mouth type singing that was existed back then,
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some TLC love. I love me some TLC.
Yeah.
Mike was all like, TLC is going to be in our town or in our area, I should say, in our region, September 3rd with Bone, right? And so Mike was all like, yo, you want to go see TLC? I was like, well, the thing is, September 3rd is the launch of Horror Fest. I'm committed to that. I'm more excited than that to go and see not TLC, but TC. Let's be honest, man.
Yeah,
like,
TC.
I don't know. I'm sure it'd still be cool. I know it would be cool, right? But like at the same time, like it's Horror Fest.
That's
and like
not
that
the
takes
same.
precedence, and it's not going to be the same. Just like seeing Kid and Play today wouldn't be the same.
Right.
Do you think we're going to see those same moves we saw in House Party 2 at
Not
their
at all.
prime? Let's be honest. House Party 2 is their prime. Okay. But, yo, Robbie, where's the Hellboy song came from? What's the story? The one you use on the breaks. Love that stuff. Yeah, me too. It's ready tonight if anybody wants to throw out a super chat. This is honestly how it came. So yeah, I played that Joker video when I was trying to crowdfund the Joker van, right? The Toy Biz toy. And the PCP Army paid for that. But like, so I threw that little celebratory Joker clap to be like, we're getting the Joker van. And I just kept it. And then one day I would like try to do these weird freestyles or sing song things type with it. And then one day I just looked over and in the other studio, there's a Hellboy poster right there by Mike Mignola on the desk or next to the desk. And I looked over and I was like, let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. So I came up with it on the spot. That is actually on the channel. That clip has been clipped out. And you can look up Pop Culture Philosophers Hellboy song and find the initial original version of it. A couple little lines have changed here and there, but it's still pretty much
the only constant is like basically the first couple of lines. Then you just kind of go off into whatever.
No, I mean, it's pretty much the solid same thing. I mean, if we get a super chat, I'll sing it again. And as far as the status on the status on the Punisher van, it's right up there. It's been in our videos for a while. I got the Punisher van. Like, we got it. We got that Punisher van. I just never did an unboxing because it wasn't nothing to unbox because we bought it at a con. Well, Mike bought it at the con. And then it didn't come with the trailer with the gun. And Mike went out and bought the trailer for the gun and then charged me how much it cost him just to buy the Punisher van and then basically gifted the gun that goes into the back of it, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Thanks, Mike. That was cool.
Yeah, that's Fable right there. Started as a freestyle. Yes, it did.
Very nice.
So what's up? All right. Me, Jelani, and Brooks have been friends for a long time. So I want to share some memories of ours that you may not be familiar with. But that's the time we went and saw the Golden Gate Bridge. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was very nice.
We were levitating above the bridge.
No, we're on a platform there. But how about the time we went skydiving?
Oh, yeah, I did not do that.
It was our Point Break phase.
Yeah, that was fun. Do you remember when we went to the beach a few years ago? That was cool. Yeah. Do you remember we went to Japan to see where they film the Power Rangers Super Sentai fight scenes? Do you remember that?
I do.
That was fun. And this is just from us a few weeks ago at the club. So
now you know I wouldn't set foot in a club.
Those are good times, right?
Always good times. Well done.
All right. Well, now it's time for the next bit. It's time for What If. We talked about What If. And of course, we're going to be talking about What If Episode 2. What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord? Overall thoughts first. I loved it. I thought it was great. I've been digging the What If show so far. And I already knew that we were going to have more of an emotional connection to this episode because it's Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa, right? And the last performance, I think, period, that we're getting from him, right? Tragically passed away. And for the most part, I held myself together through the episode. And then at the end, when you get the tribute and you're just kind of like, I was just getting a little choked up. You know, I had to look at my cat and be like, I'm just getting a little choked up. It's okay. Don't worry. And like, nothing's wrong with daddy. I'm fine. But what I wasn't prepared for was that this was actually a very resonating episode all in all. It's about nurture versus nature and what T'Challa represents versus Peter Quill. Like no, we could sit here and say that it kind of paints Peter Quill as being a loser because he doesn't do anything near as legendary as Star-Lord does, but he also just winds up working at a fucking Dairy Queen. But aside from that, like, I thought those were nice little bits. There were bits in here that referenced the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I love the bit at the beginning when the Kree dude finds him and he's like, I'm Star-Lord. He goes, oh my God, he recognizes it.
Yeah,
he becomes
he knows
big
he's
fan.
fanboys.
Yeah, he fanboys.
It's like he's just the complete opposite of Peter Quill in pretty much every way.
Yeah, right. So I like the story, but I also like that it threw a different shade on Yondu as well. The idea that I feel like between the arc of Yondu and Guardians 2 and what we see here, we know so much more now about that character. And I was really amazed and kind of astounded at certain voice actors that came back and certain that didn't. Like, you didn't get Chris Pratt to do Star-Lord. You didn't get Dave Bautista to do Drax, but somehow you got Kurt Russell to do like one line as Ego. How freaking random was
Josh
that?
Brolin to do Thanos?
Josh Brolin is Thanos. The Thanos bit was a little odd to me. That like, because T'Challa is there, he kind of talks Thanos into being a good guy, and they laugh at his idea of genocide. That kind of threw me off, and at the same time, I was like, that kind of fits the Ravagers. So I thought that was cool. That's actually Sean Gunn playing that character too. So, I mean, overall, I really liked the episode. I thought it was good. I thought it was actually stronger than the last episode. I liked the animation. Overall, I really dug it. I loved the performances, the voice acting. It was cool. I love the animation. Jelani, overall, what did you think of episode 2 of What If?
I mean, already it's starting strong. Like the first episode, I mean, for me, I mean, I give that like, that would give 3.5 edicts. It's good because it's basically a hash retelling of Captain America: The First Avenger, but through the eyes of Carter and Captain Carter and how fast and stronger she is because she was healthy when she got that serum. So she does a lot of things a lot faster and it gets done a lot quicker. And I loved how that pacing worked. But this episode with T'Challa being Star-Lord is my favorite. Yeah, I am like still choked up with Chadwick Boseman. Like when we heard it on our live stream, like that was real. I hate that I find that breaking news happens while we're trying to talk about and have fun.
I remember that. I don't remember what movie that was. I think it was a Bill and Ted movie, wasn't it?
It was a Bill and Ted movie, I think.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And we got that news, and it hurt all of us. So the fact that this is a great send off for him, it's a great what if. I heard that a lot of people here on the internet, but it was like he knew. So he decided to jump on and do this as quickly as possible. So I like that part about it. The weaknesses for it would be like they nerfed Thanos. He was really nerfed. Like he was Hulk tier strong, like Hulk, and he beat up Hulk without the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's getting his butt whooped by his own guard. And they didn't make any smirks to him or anything. They were just like, we'll kill him. and the other kind of con was Benicio del Toro. Didn't sound like Benicio del Toro.
I thought that was not. I was like, that's totally not Benicio. And then I got to the credits, and I was like, that's Benicio del Toro actually doing that. This sounds so weird.
It's the weirdest sounding thing.
And the Collector got jacked in this universe, man. Have you noticed?
Well, he became the kingpin of the universe, so he would become Thanos. So I get it, but not as strong. But I liked it. I loved him fanning out. I loved the fact that his regality, the things that fundamentally make T'Challa were he didn't need the technology. He has his own technology as Star-Lord, but he didn't need a suit to be, just a great person, like through and through. And the fact he talked Thanos down is fantastic. I don't know what it about that made me excited, but it just feels like that would happen. And it also tells me that Peter Quill is full of shit. And the last con I have is that last part where Ego finds him. So does Ego kill him because he was trying to kill all of his offspring?
Yeah.
So does he kill him here, or does he try to bring him into the fold? Actually,
that's what he wasn't trying to kill his offspring. He was trying to find one that was worthy of I guess sharing his power or whatever.
So we'll probably get a what if Peter Quill went evil, because I have heard that they were intending on following this story back up, and that's kind of obvious. That's why you get Kurt Russell. You're not going to get Kurt Russell and pay him what he's worth to come in and deliver one line of dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Or 1.5, whatever it was. He'll be back. And they're probably saving the Chris Evans paycheck for that. Not Chris Evans, Chris Pratt paycheck for that. And did you see the newest thing? They're like, Chris Pine. And we're like, there's that meme where it's like finally I've collected them all, and it's all the white Chris's over at Marvel Cinematic Universe. But sure. I know a lot of dudes in our lives named Chris. Josh should be the next one. How many dudes out there named Josh? Let's do it. But I liked it. I think that, okay, so I still thought that Thanos was badass because even without the gauntlet, even without the army, he stood up to those two. It was Black Dwarf and Proxima Midnight that he was holding off. They didn't get him. Nebula.
Cinematic Universe Thanos has never been really clear on just how strong he was. No, he's always had his army,
That's not just the Cinematic Universe Thanos. That's just Thanos in general. He goes up and down in what he can do. Initially it was just because he had this he was more like an apocalypse figure in the background, but then he gets the gauntlet. But then what can he do? Well, without the gauntlet, you know what I can tell you can happen? God Doom can rip his fucking spine out. Anyway, so there's that. But I actually thought that he was kind of cool. I thought it was a little weird that they were so casually joking about, genocide. But the one that really bothered me was Nebula. I thought Nebula was very weird in this version of things. But overall, I like it. I agree with you, Jelani. Maybe some nitpicking here and there, but overall, I thought it was really, really solid. What did you think about it, Brooks?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting to see how T'Challa, being Star-Lord, accomplished so much and became just this legendary figure. And it also liked how they make the Collector such a huge piece of shit.
Yeah,
he is. I mean, he's just a fucking dude who just kidnaps sentient beings and puts them in fucking boxes and shit. I mean, because fuck the Collector.
Yeah,
I loved seeing him get his ass kicked.
Well, at the same time, the Collector is us. Karma. The Collector is us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to be the one to get the Wonder Bread He-Man. No one else can have it. I'm going to put it behind my glass case. I'm going to be the one to get the Lament configuration and find new ways to experience pleasure and pain.
Maybe that's why I hate him so much. I see too much of myself in him.
No, he's
always unbox my stuff.
I was disappointed in his performance. But what about this? What about, I like the Howard the Duck bit, but that was actually Seth Green doing Howard the Duck, who did the little bit in the original one. What do you think about the Howard the Duck bit, Brooks?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. It'd be interesting to see Howard the Duck. They're bound to do something with him now, because they've been kind of hinting at it.
they were supposed to do some kind of animated series, I think, but they should do it at some point. I think Seth Green would get on board with that, would voice the character, would help write it. And if you really had a team that understood that brilliant satirical nature of the original Steve Gerber stuff, I think you could do a really solid Howard the Duck.
Yeah, like the early stuff was like a lot of political satire and stuff, wasn't it?
But yeah, it was. But and that's why Howard the Duck ran for president, and he got some votes. But the thing is, though, if your whole thing is based on nostalgia of the movie produced by George Lucas, that's the wrong direction, I think, to go. Right. So I don't know. I've heard that Chip Zdarsky's run on the character was actually pretty solid. I think it's actually getting like a deluxe hardcover or an omnibus or something soon. Brooks, overall, did you like the first episode of What If?
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was interesting, it's a what if. So I thought it was cool to see,
Here's one thing I'd like to see. And me and Brooks have covered some what if issues.
What if?
Yeah, what if I die? We've covered some what if issues on Comics Revisited, and we plan on doing that as a kind of continuous bit, starting again soon. I just got to find my what if comics. But the one thing I do wish would happen, at least in one of these things, and maybe we'll get it in the Marvel Zombies one, but like in most what ifs, it's like, what if this happened? Well, the answer is everybody fucking dies. Like the world goes to shit. Everything gets way worse. Yeah, and this one, it was like, no, things are actually better.
Like she actually did a better job. She actually got the Tesseract.
Yeah.
They used to power the Iron Man suit for Steve.
Yeah.
Bucky didn't die and become Winter Soldier.
Oh, dude, right. and then the Black Panther becoming Star-Lord one, like he gets the Power Stone, it was the Power Stone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't use it.
Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
What do you think about Thanos, Brooks?
I liked it. I liked seeing the kind of different side of Thanos, like the Thanos who maybe took a different path, because Thanos was kind of presented as a character you could kind of relate to in a way, even though, his aim was bad. He seemed to have his heart in the right place. Like, he'd seen his civilization collapse and he thought he had a good idea about how to fix things and make life better for everybody. I thought it was interesting is like that T'Challa could actually like convince him that there's a better way than, collecting the Infinity Stones and killing a bunch of people.
Nice.
So they just stayed where they were. Yeah.
What do you think about the I've heard complaints about the animation. I actually like it. It's kind of a mix between line drawn and 3D, which they've tried before, and it's never really quite worked for me, but I think it works here. It feels cinematic. They use the same sound design that they use in the MCU films. For instance, like Cap's shield sounds the same. The vibranium sounds the same. Like it's the same bits and some of the same voice actors, right?
That was interesting too. Like Thanos or the Collector's trophy case has like Mjolnir and Cap's shield in it.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
What happened there?
The Avengers are gone, bro. Like, here's the thing. Like, things are better for certain parts, but not as good for others, right? But what if hasn't done for me yet is get into those really like no, this is not a good what if. And let's be like, I mean, we're trying to tell you this, and Jelani's read a lot of them too.
Yeah.
They're never good usually. Like there's the occasional time where there's an occasional time where you're like, okay, maybe that worked out better, but for the most part, they don't. But I've heard hate on the animation. I've heard love for it. I really like it. I think it looks solid. It looks comic booky, yet cinematic at the same time. It feels and looks at times like a video game, but the background, the artwork is so luscious and amazing, and the line art is working for me. I really like it. What do you think about the animation, Jelani?
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. There's so much little detail in the drawing. Like, it's not off-putting. Like, there's certain anime that I won't watch because it's off-putting to me because the way they're drawn. There's a Getter anime that just came out, or it's starting over again, and I was all into it until I saw like the way they drew the characters' eyes and like little scratches and things like that. I was like, and not for me. So this is visually appealing in every way, and it looks similar to those voice actors. So I like how they make sure they pay attention to that detail. And the line work is fantastic. Everything about it looks great. I love the coloring. I like Captain Carter's outfit. Something about I like Union Jack, and for the way that it's so intricate on the shield as well, and I love that design. So yeah, I'm really fond of a lot of stuff in this. I love the vibranium when he breaks through the cage he's in. I love the detail within that, and so like I don't know, it's just it's a good bag for me, man. It's very cool.
Hell yeah. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the animation?
I was kind of on the fence at first with it in the first episode, but I got used to it pretty quickly, into it, and like now it's like I actually kind of I do like it. It's kind of like how the animation in like the early Clone Wars, like the 3D one, like that was kind of it's the same as where like I didn't really care much for it at first, but I got used to it, and the storytelling in that show really kind of superseded any problems I would have had with like the aesthetic. But yeah, I actually like the animation in this now. I think it works.
I think it worked better in this one for me than the first one, and maybe it was because whoever was doing the animation was getting better at it, or just the idea that they're in space looked cooler, and the moving cages and the collector's vault or whatever was super cool to me. And I mean, I really liked it. Like when you saw Nowhere, and like this was one of those times where like I watched all those credits so I could see all of the backgrounds and shit. Like that art like looked amazing to me. So I thought that was really, really cool. One thing that does bother me, and by the way, we got Tim Crocker says the art feels like it's still in sort of in concept art stages, like a couple more steps. They could polish it up pretty nice.
Yeah.
Good lighting, color palette at times, though. I agree with that, especially in this episode. Eddie says, the What If Marvel Legends coming out look dope, and they make the Watcher if you get them all. Here's one of my big complaints about the series. First of all, I love Jeffrey Wright as Uatu, the Watcher. Uatu.
Things just ain't the same for gangsters.
Right? But I'll tell you this. I love the voice. I love the intro because that's what the What If comic books were like. It would start off being narrated by him, right? And that's cool. That's cool. But all we get of the Watcher are just these like weirdly silhouetted fucking images. Like that pisses me off so much. What do you guys?
Like, they do him like Eternity, where he's like, he's a galaxy inside of him. Like,
the voice acting is so brilliant, and I agree with Dank. And what's up, Dank? Jeffrey Wright is brilliant. So like, why not have some brilliant animation to back it up? It's like they like cheapened out, on that. They're like, let's just keep putting the same thing. I am the Watcher.
They're going to save him for the finale.
Oh, man.
Like in the last episode, the Watcher actually has to do something.
It's like, what if we animated the Watcher? Is the final episode, right?
Wow.
Wait, what do you think about Uatu in the show, Jelani?
I mean, I like him. He's basically your Rod Serling. So he tells the beginning and the end. He's the narrator. And I mean, hopefully he does find a way to interact. But I only want to see Uatu like interact with the Fantastic Four and Galactus. So that's the only way I want to see him like used if they're going to do a first appearance of him for real.
I'll tell you what, man.
It's all good.
If they're going to use the Watcher in a live action film for real, not just for a bit like they did in Guardians 2, but like for real, let's be honest. The Watcher was first introduced in a Red Ghost story. How many Fantastic Four movies you think they have to make to get to the Red Ghost?
And the Super 8,
which I think the Red Ghost and the Super Apes. I get it. Right now, we're all in this anti-Russia shit again, so maybe that could work. I don't know. No, but I just wish they would animate him better. I don't want just this weird silhouette. Like, I don't want something that looks as crude as me pulling an image from the internet and very crudely animating it in a program online, like I did for the intro here. What do you think, Brooks, about the Watcher in the show? Uatu. Because last week somebody was like, well, it's not just a watcher, it's the watcher, it's Uatu. And I'm like, of course, we know that. Have they even said his name yet?
I
No.
think he said like, I am Uatu the what? I can't remember though. I think he did in the first one.
Okay.
I think he introduced himself.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I would like to see more of him, but I think they just kind of like they've taken him as like, you know, he's just the guy who basically is introducing the show. So why go through all the trouble of making like, you know, all this animation for him? And because, you know, like in the What If comics, basically Uatu was like in like the first panel. You'd be on the first page and like the last page maybe. Yeah. So I think that's why they didn't really, you know, bother too much with him. I think they probably will eventually.
Yeah.
I imagine eventually they're going to give us a full-on watcher, but they're probably just like saving it for later.
Yeah.
At the very end, Jonathan Majors comes in to voice Kang, and he's like, you know, like, and like that's who Uatu's talking to, is Kang maybe or something
Kang,
like that.
Shoots
right?
him in the head,
or takes his eye out.
Yeah, takes his eye.
Gives it to Nick Fury. Wouldn't that be a weird fucking stretch? Anyway, yeah, I just wish, like, in the other thing, yeah, you made a good point there. Like, if you're just going to do this crude animation for now, I'm cool with it because the voice acting is solid enough. But give me that wrap up at the end, because we're not getting that. Like at the end, be like, well, and it's because it's better when the watcher comes in and goes, looks like things didn't go so well for Tony Stark in this alternate reality. But in this one, it's like, looks like things went better for most people. You know, it just depends. Yeah. I think the next episode is the Killmonger, right?
Oh, it is?
Is it the Killmonger? Somebody said it was the Killmonger saves Tony, but I don't know what it is. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, so what out of 5 you digs? I want you out there in the chat to let us know, you in the comments to let us know, and Jelani, out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give episode 2? And I know you said you give the first episode, because I gave it 4, and you said
3.5. 3.5.
So what do you think about the second episode? What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord?
It's a lot better. It's a step up. It choked me up, so it gave me an emotional response. So I will give it a 4.5 so far. I may change that depending on how the others go, but for right now, I'll give it a 4.5. It's Chadwick Boseman at his best. His final role, it's sentimental to me like that, and I like how he was able to make the Ravagers. The Ravagers. It's not the Guardians of the Galaxy, not at all, because it didn't need it. Well, not yet, you know. But I like how he formed that bond with them so quickly. I love how he's renowned in the universe. It's so cool, you know, because I never when you expect, he's like, oh, Star-Lord. You're Star-Lord? Really? You know, and he knows of him, and it's funny as crap. And it's like, I didn't see that coming, and the fact that they run with that, and it's told so well to me. So I'll still give it high marks. I think I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
4.5 is pretty respectable, especially for an animated series. And I don't see how, depending on where it goes, like it stands on its own. That's the cool thing about this kind of show, is that each episode stands on its own. Speaking of standing on his own, Brooks is always standing on his own. Sometimes I just drive down the road and I see that he's just there on the corner where a payphone used to be, like he's just waiting for it. Like he's got some kind of beep on his pager, whatever. But speaking of, Brooks, what do you give the second episode of What If out of 5 you digs?
I'd give it 4.5 too. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I feel like they could have done more with some of the Cosmic Marvel stuff, though. I thought it would have been interesting if like Captain Marvel had maybe showed up at a point, or Rocket Raccoon and Groot. So I think there were like a few missed opportunities, but overall, I thought it was a good What If.
I guess if T'Challa became Star-Lord, they never go into that prison to save Rocket, and Groot are just still in that prison. Probably.
They'd have broke out still.
Yeah, that's
I remember he's talking in that movie about how many prisons they'd broken out of.
Yeah, right. I'm going to agree with you guys. 4.5 you digs. If I gave the first one 4, what would you have given the first episode, Brooks?
I'd have given it 4.
Yeah, I gave the first one a 4, and I thought this one was better. Better voice acting, even though there was some good voice acting in the first one. I liked the story. It just kind of depended too much on replaying the greatest hits.
Yeah, it was
Captain
too
America.
close to the first Avenger.
It was
in a way.
lot.
This one did it, understood that that's a bit, and then it went into its own story. That it like thought it wasn't perfect. Nebula kind of bothered me. The Thanos thing could have been done a little bit differently, but overall, I didn't mind it. I don't think they nerfed him. And I know a lot of people think that they punked out Thanos, but I'm like, nah, like T'Challa like talked him out. However, it just goes to show you, like the first time we ever saw T'Challa in the MCU, he was on a quest for vengeance, right? And he learned, right? And Yondu taught him that. Like I said, it shows us a lot about the character of Yondu. So I give it 4.5 as well. TM Nerdy gives it 4, you digs. Bobby says 5, you digs, but remember, I like the Inhumans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
BJ says 3.5, you digs. Perry, my man Perry, who just confirmed he will be joining us for the 28 Days Later Horror Fest edition. Hell yeah. Perry says 4, you digs, and the ending was great because it was it led to the end of the universe, no? Oh, there was some kind of watch. Wasn't there a watcher narration at the end where it's like, could this lead to the end of another universe? Okay. I still think I would like to still see him. He doesn't move. He's just there. He's like eternity. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, Tim Crocker says, I give it 4, you digs. Kirby says, I give 4, you digs for the recent What If episode. What if you watched the Inhuman series with the sound off and played Santana and just tied all 3 segments together? Boom.
You realize like they actually fit together like the Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon. Like, oh my God. Yeah. It can't be a coincidence.
It can't be. All right. Well, we just answered the question. What if we talk about what if? That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, good times.
That was a fun little bit.
I like reviews. I like reviewing stuff I've seen and read and played with.
Hell yeah. You know, next week there's not a Rockin Robbie live, but I do want to see if we can fit in some kind of something live at some point just to do the what if bit again. You know what I'm saying, for episode 3?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Does anybody know what if episode 3 is? Like, is there a promo?
Because I thought you were looking for that.
I tried to look it up and I couldn't find anything, but somebody in the chat said it was the Killmonger saved by Iron Man.
Okay.
What if there are no more episodes of What If?
We can run that bit into the fucking ground. I love it. What if? What if PCP actually had something exciting to say and not just regurgitating bits over and over and over again?
Hey, our bits are gold. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Like corn bits.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the corn bits.
Yeah.
Tim says it's the Killmonger episode. Do they got Michael B. Jordan for that? I wonder.
I'm sure they do.
Is he going to be playing the Human Torch?
Dude. Dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I know I know that I saw this not too long ago. Brooks is not on any kind of social media, so this doesn't happen to him as much. But me and Jelani occasionally will still get thrown out the idea that we liked certain bits of that last Fantastic Four movie. That's like all we really ever said was the setup was good enough, right? We could tell when it went off the rails. And we thought that the scene of Doom going down the fucking hallway, exploding people's heads was fucking pretty badass. That's it. That's it. But we get accused all the time of actually liking that fucking movie. If you go back and watch our review that we did the night we got back from watching that movie.
I remember like you were so disappointed.
I started off, I said, first of all, I can't say I recommend this movie.
It's not that good. Not at all. But the hallway scene with Doom was nuts. I hate that he was Trash Can Man. I hated. I mean, of course, you could tell the reshoots were different, like just by the blonde wig. And there's so many just things didn't have pants on. I don't know. There's just a lot going on. And I don't think if Josh Trank had the chance to make his vision, I would still like that either. And it's just, it was studio interference at its finest, but it was also Josh Trank. that tanked his own movie. So,
yeah, first of all, you already have an unstable personality.
mm-hmm.
Making a follow-up to a movie that gave him some traction, but still didn't hit big enough to the point where I have seen it. I mean, I know Chronicle hit to a level, but it didn't hit like
it wasn't like
a
culturally
blockbuster or something,
yeah.
right?
It's not a cultural zeitgeist film.
But
like,
then when you already take an unstable sophomore director, and then you start like changing the vision in the fucking middle of it. According to IMDb, it's the Loki episode. Is what I'm hearing from Mike.
Yeah, it's Loki. If Loki got all the Infinity Gauntlet,
okay,
he got them all. That's what I thought it was. I didn't know it was the Killmonger one, but that's what I was looking for. But I saw that.
Well, Perry confirms that too. So some random blog on Google says it's the Loki on Earth one.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. That I don't think that they would. I didn't think that they would put the Killmonger episode close to the T'Challa episode, right?
Yeah. That's not bad though. I thought Killmonger was gonna be in this one for some reason.
Well, he's got like a whole episode, right?
Yeah.
Him and Tony become best friends or some shit.
Civil War happened, Civil War didn't happen in their world, I guess, because he wasn't there to watch his father die. His father didn't die. I just thought about that.
His father's alive. Actually.
Yeah, his father's alive. So.
Who?
Oh,
T'Challa's?
Wow. T'Challa's father is alive.
Yeah, T'Challa was still alive at the end of that episode.
Yeah. So the Avengers died. Avengers or by Ultron hands, maybe.
Yeah.
It could have been something else.
Zemo got him, man.
Yeah. They got. But yeah.
They got.
Well, they got.
Nice. All right, we're about to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll be answering your questions. We'll be talking a little bit more bullshit, and we'll be doing a little bit of show and tell. So thank you all for joining us.
You have a ghoulie on your picture there?
Yeah, I do. You got a problem with that? They'll
Not
get
at
you in
all.
the end. It's first of all, I love ghoulies, right? I love ghoulies. And then I also put that on there because I was like, sometimes when I do this, it's because I'm taking a bathroom break. Do you get it? Hey, we got a super chat from Perry Comics. Hey, you know what that means?
That's a very exact.
Hey, it's too loud. I can't do it. It's too loud. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun. Had sex with the demon, but was raised by the best of them.
I love the hood.
That's actually in the little song. You know, it's not even me that's doing that part. It's just actually in the song. So that's
it is.
That's nice. Thank you so much, Perry. I just couldn't make it through a Sunday without getting a super chat and doing the Hellboy songs. Thank you. And Jelani's right. This is a very specific number, and that's why he said that. Perry said earlier, rolling up. Love this part of the show, talking about the breaks. Yeah, I give everybody the opportunity to dash away and do whatever they need to do. Because we know what it's like here, right? And sometimes you're just trying to
gotta take the edge off, man.
go to the bathroom.
Yeah, dude.
They'll get you in the end, Ghoulies. Like, man, there is a Ghoulies Blu-ray set from Scream Factory 1 and 2. It's super expensive, man. God, I want it. I used to have the DVD. I need to get there's like 4 Ghoulies films. Can you believe that?
I've never watched Ghoulies. I just don't.
I've never seen any of the Ghoulies movies either.
Yeah.
But I have seen that picture of the puppet coming out of the toilet a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it was the so they actually put that on the poster, and then they were like, well, we don't have a scene in the movie where a ghoulie comes out of the toilet. So then they had to do a bit in the movie where the ghoulie came out of the toilet, and it became the image of the damn franchise, right? And I will say this, Ghoulies is fine, but Ghoulies 2 is where it's fucking at, bro. Ghoulies 2 is where it's at. They're in like this like traveling haunted house in like a dingy fair that comes through town, like the county fair and shit like that. Like they're in the fucking fun house, if you will. Ghoulies 2 is really good. Really good. We're doing Funhouse for Horror Fest. Talk about that real quick. So here is the Horror Fest lineup right there. You see that on September 3rd it starts. We're doing the Hellraiser franchise. Now, of course, Dylan's Horror Show is on Saturday nights. So it's in conjunction with Dylan's Horror Fest. So we're doing Hellraiser, all 10 movies. The Burbs, Fright Night 1 and 2. The poll winner, which was 28 days later, will be joined by Perry Comics for that. John Carpenter's Vampires, The Funhouse, Haunt. From 2019, Dylan says it's very much in the vein of Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse, so I'm really excited to check it out. Notice Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse came out in 1981, my birth year, Brooks's birth year. It's also celebrating its 40th anniversary. So there you go. Suspiria for October 1st. We'll be joined by Joe Corallo on that show.
Yeah.
Then Drag Me to Hell the following night. the poll winner of the Joe Corallo edition movie poll. It's up right now. Last I checked, Satan's Little Helper was winning, but there are some weird stretches of movies there. I encourage you to do a little bit of research. Check out the links I threw in the comments below in the PCP Army poll post and throw out your vote. Then we're doing The Fog, the original one, not the one with fake Superman. Then we're doing The Evil Dead on the exact 40th anniversary of the release of Evil Dead in its first theater, which was 1981, October 15th. Isn't that dope? Then the following night, we're doing Evil Dead 2. Then we're doing The Howling, An American Werewolf in London, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all 12 Halloween movies. Actually, I guess there's 13 now. I don't know, including the new one. And then we're going to be wrapping it all up on Dylan's Horror Show with The Exorcist. So, y'all, September 3rd, get ready. We are already watching, if not completed, the Hellraiser film rewatch. So get them in right now. And I just want to throw back one more time to when we visited the office building in Japan that they film all the Super Sentai fights at. That was a good time, guys. You remember that?
We actually staged our own Sentai fight scene while we were there.
Yeah, well, I'll show you that image next time. I just got to Photoshop some, crudely Photoshop some Power Ranger helmets on us.
Guys, I need you to do some poses so we can take some pictures.
We now pause for station identification. This is a fun show, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Perry's like, whoa, you guys did a Japan trip. Super dope. Oh, yeah. Did you miss it earlier? Well, this is when we went to San Francisco.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's a good trip.
You do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
That's us in Cancun. And that's us skydiving once again, in case you missed it. And
With no parachutes, by the way.
The other week we were at the club, but don't worry, we were the only 3 people there, so we're vaccinated. We didn't need to wear masks, so we're fine. And it's also us on the set of a Puff Daddy music video from the 90s. Oh, God, I love these stupid bits. What the fuck you guys want to talk about?
I mean,
yeah, like Satan's Little Helper. It's like not like Santa's Little. Yeah, exactly. Same bit, dude. Perry, it's gonna be a weird movie if it wins. If it actually pulls it off.
For Christmas, we should do like Satan Claus, one of the horror Christmas movies. Like,
well, remember
Santa Sleigh.
Well, if you remember last year, we went horror for Christmas. You know,
Yeah, we did do the Krampus.
Well, we did Krampus and we did Gremlins. And we did Silent Night, Deadly Night, and we did Black Christmas. Do you remember that? Like we did fucking 4, actually 5.
They're all
Silent Night,
horror
Deadly Night 1 and 2. Yeah, they're all horror. Maybe we'll actually do Christmas movie this year. I've been thinking about it. I already got some ideas in my head. We're gonna do 2 or maybe 3. There's one that Joe's always telling me about, Joe Corallo. That's what the fuck is it called? I don't remember. I have to ask him about it again. But that's a horror one. But outside of that, we're doing Scrooged 100%.
Yeah, we got to do that.
And in fact, if you want to know, in November, we're doing 7 Samurai and we're doing Donnie Darko. And then in December, we're doing Scrooged and we're doing another Christmas movie. But I want something that's a little bit more like classic. But I'm trying to figure out what exactly that should be. Not It's a Wonderful Life. Who gives a shit about that?
Muppet Christmas Carol.
I was thinking about that one because I was thinking about doing a Christmas Carol, but Muppet Christmas Carol would be the better one to do, right?
I like Muppet Christmas
Carol. The George C. Scott one.
That's what we're doing then. That's what we're doing. We're doing Scrooge and Muppet Christmas Carol. Yeah. How about that? Y'all cool with that?
Yeah,
we'll let Dylan do the horror movie ones. He'll have plenty to do, right?
Yeah.
So, there's tons of them.
I think we can. Yeah, we can pull all that off. Gives me
I'm
something
really
to
pumped.
watch. Yeah. Oh, I gotta find that.
Mike wants everybody to know that Crocodile Fury is about a were-crocodile. He wants everybody to vote for that one. Like, I'll be honest, it's available to watch on YouTube. I told Joe today, I was like, I watched a little bit of Crocodile Fury, and and I was like, regardless of the results of the poll, I'm gonna watch that fucking movie. I'll tell you that. But here's the thing: is I put it up, and 10 minutes later, we didn't have a vote. Usually 10 minutes after a poll, we have a few votes. So I was like, maybe I should vote first just to get it pumped up, right? So I voted for Satan's Little Helper because that trailer looks fucking dumb. And I think, I know that Joe has mentioned that several times when he's been on the channel. And so I think I don't know if a lot of other people voted for that one.
People jumped on it.
Because I voted for it, or if like they watched the trailers that I put in the comments, or if they just like are judging it based on the title. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. There's some, y'all thought we liked some weird fucking movies. You don't even know. Joe Corallo likes some weird ass fucking movies. And I'm here for it. And I'm ready to be, I'm ready to be enlivened by Joe Corallo and literally we're talking about E-list fucking horror movies, right? And Bob's been helping me go through Kung Fu Cinema, right? And so we're off of Rockin Robbie next week, but 2 weeks from now I'll be reviewing Hero, which is the next one. Yeah, this is the next one.
I saw that one.
Bob told me he wants to go modern to classic. I just did 36 Chambers of Shaolin. Now it's time for a more modern one. So Hero is going to be the one.
Have you never watched Hero before?
No, I've never seen it. So I'll tell you this. Tell you this. The journey into Kung Fu Cinema will come to a halt during Horror Fest, right? Because I got to give you some extra content for Horror Fest, announcing 4 additional movies for Horror Fest that are going to be covered on Rockin Robbie Live by me for my Sunday morning movie. And it's all themed to one of my favorite Scream Queens, who I will be meeting this year at Scarefest 13, Linnea Quigley. So we're going to be covering we're going to be covering Graduation Day. We're going to be covering Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama, right? We're going to be covering Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and one of my personal favorites from Linnea, Nightmare Sisters. Awesome. So that's 4 more movies that have been added to Horror Fest technically. And I'm officially adding another one. Holy cow. Actually, I'm adding 2. There's going to be a random surprise PCP Horror Fest movie night at some point during Horror Fest, just like we did last year. You guys remember that was Zombie? Yeah, Lucio Fulci's Zombie? Yeah, dude. This year we're doing it again. And what's the surprise movies? I'm not telling you, but it's going to be 2 movies. They are both also Italian films. So y'all get ready. Y'all get ready. In fact, I'm going to let Jelani and Brooks, who don't even know yet, in the private chat.
Really?
I'm going to let them know what the movies are and ask them not to share, but to share their reaction. Because I know that at least Jelani has seen these movies.
I've seen these.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Italian horror. Yes, sir.
What a beautiful murder.
That's beautiful murder. Oh.
Speaking of horror, we got Dylan's Horror Show up in here.
Hey, Dylan.
Dylan, I just added 6 movies to Horror Fest, but don't worry, they're just covered by me, and then the surprise Italian horror double feature.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into some Linnea Quigley appreciation. I am so pumped to go meet her. I'm going to Scarefest 13, Jelani. I'll need to talk to you about this, but we're going. It's the second weekend or the weekend before Halloween. Kane Hodder's there. Tony Todd is there. Ted Raimi is there. Linnea Quigley is there. The chick from Sleepaway Camp is there. I can never remember her name. Michael Berryman, the guy from Hills Have Eyes, is going to be there. Bruh. What a it's such a me, Jay Strick, and Jamie are going. And we actually have an Airbnb booked.
Already? You've done this already?
Oh yeah, Jamie hooked it up. Jamie got us an Airbnb booked that is Big Lebowski themed. So yes. I'll talk to you in case you can and want to go with us, bro, because it's gonna be fucking awesome. That's a good show, man. Tony Todd.
Yeah.
Come on.
I would love to see all that, man.
I'm forgetting somebody too. Let me look. I know I'm forgetting somebody.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, Bruce Campbell's there. Bruce Campbell's there.
Oh, I gotta meet him.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, Tony Todd, Bill Moseley, Nick Groff just got announced. He's from the original Ghost Hunters or Ghost Avengers. I'm pumped for that.
I've got stuff I gotta get signed.
Michael Berryman, Robert Mukes, Bill Moseley, William Forsythe.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wow. Okay. He's a weird stretch for it.
Yeah, that's a weird stretch. Oh, Lloyd Kaufman, the director of Toxic Crusader from Troma Films, is going to be there. That's super cool. There's some people I don't know. Oh, I got one for you, Jelani. Oh, it's Felissa Rose that's going to be there. Kane Hodder, of course.
Yeah.
R.A. Mihailov is going to be there. Leatherface in Part 3. I've met him before. Sean Whalen's going to be there from fucking People Under the Stairs, Revenge of the Nerds. Sal Lizard's going to be there, who's apparently a Santa Claus lookalike who has been in some Santa Claus movies, like horror movies. Santa Claus horror movies. Vernon Wells. Oh my goodness. It's not that one. But here's one for you, Jelani. Jenna Jameson's going to be there.
I'm iffy.
Well, I mean, we can get zombie strippers signed.
Yeah, zombie strippers.
It's always available at the Second and Charles or whatever. But
that's true.
So yeah, so there you go.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, Horrorfest is going to be great, y'all. We just really want you all to be really ready for it. So start watching your Hellraiser movies right now. Dylan has started. I know he's at least 2 movies in. Jay Strick is at least 5 movies in. I myself am 6 movies in. Jelani's watched them all already, and Brooks is like what, 9 in?
I finished them all. I've got.
Damn, y'all
I watched
finished
Judgment last night.
I mean,
that was the last one.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We will talk about these. By the way, we're going to talk about these in depth.
Yep.
Because this isn't like Phantasm for me. This is like it's uneven, but all of them seem to have Doug Bradley in them until they don't.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays in Judgment is a little better than the one that plays in
Revelation.
Revelation
is not very good.
Revelation is trash. It's 100% trash.
I still haven't seen those 2, man.
And the director of those 2 films, he's like the makeup artist for all so far back as I think Hellraiser 2. So he has extensive knowledge of it, and he even made a fan video of Hellraiser where he played Hellraiser. He played Pinhead. So he loves the product. It's just he only had 3 weeks or something, or 3 months. No, it was 3 weeks to make that movie just so they could keep the rights. And it is such a mess. It is it rehashes the first Hellraiser. I'm not trying to spoil anything. It just rehashes the first Hellraiser in a lot of ways. And you're and it's cheap. And it's cheaply made, and you can tell. And there's so many bad things. But the 3 movies that Robbie that you like the most, those 3 I don't really like them because I feel like they're the same movie. That's
there. I mean, I get
Inferno,
what you're saying.
Deader and
Hellseeker.
Hellseeker. Or Hellseeker and Deader.
Hellseeker's in the middle. Yeah, Hellseeker.
Hellseeker's in the middle.
I watched Hellseeker last night and loved it more than ever. I'll be honest with you, man. I liked
to be in that movie.
I liked Inferno too, but I liked Hell. Man, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a couple weeks. We don't want to.
We're not spoiling anything.
We don't want to go too crazy.
But
I mean, I've been hyped for this shit, because
it's uneven.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Did Freddy go 10 movies? No. Did Jason go? Yes.
Yes.
Did Michael go? Yeah, including the reboot. But the thing is, look how off the rails some of those movies went.
Yeah, but those are cohesive stories.
But here's the thing.
Cult of Thorns.
We'll talk about this. But the one thing I do want to say to anybody right now is that Doug Bradley's Pinhead was always Pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
He was never
he never changed him.
All those other characters did get goofy in the goofier movies, especially Freddy. right?
He was always Pinhead. You're
Pinhead
right.
is always like fucking Pinhead. And when he shows up in the worst fucking Hellraiser movie that I've ever seen, when Pinhead shows up, I go, "Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What did you say? Yes, sir. Where's my puzzle box?" Like, I'm so freaking excited. Like, I get like enticed. Like, I fucking love that dude. I've met Doug Bradley. I'm really excited to do all this. So yeah, there've been some really good Hellraiser comics, bro. Back in the 80s or the 90s, the Epic line, there were some Hellraiser books that were good. IDW did some good stuff too. There are omnibus paperbacks out, but they're hard to like find complete now, I think. And I missed out, and I need them as well. But yes, there are. I have gotten them for a while there on Comixology, the Epic collection or the Hellraiser Classics collection, which was, because now I think IDW has it, or Boom or something. I think it's IDW. Maybe it's Boom. It was Boom. I don't know who has it now. But
Hellraiser seems like it's the kind of series that would lend itself good to the comic book format, kind of like a horror anthology.
Yeah.
You'd really go in a horror anthology kind of
direction. And they went to
it.
this direction in the I think it was Boom, maybe it was IDW, but in the more recent ones, they went into this direction where Pinhead was reborn as a woman. Which in the original book, Pinhead is listed as kind of being like non-gendered, like in between, right? But
gender fluid.
There is something about a sexy Pinhead. Let me just tell you that really, really makes me unnerved. Anyway, I read that stuff, and that stuff was really freaking cool. It was clunky here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty solid. It was back, remember the late 80s, early 90s, where the Vertigo influence, and so that was kind of prevalent. They had some different art, some different things like that. So I need to try to get a hold of those before we do the show, I guess, in a couple weeks. All right. So there you go.
All right, what sites we have to show you.
Oh, we have such sites to show you. I'm already so freaking pumped. I'm posting about it all the time. Like, I was just realizing, I was like, I have a lot of Pinheads in my house. They're like literally surrounding me. I mentioned that like a couple weeks ago, but really good stuff. All right. So now we're at the end of the show. So if you have any final thoughts or questions, get them in right now, because we're about to jump into show and tell. We're going a little bit earlier in show and tell tonight because we got 3 people doing show and tell. It's going to be awesome. And 62 Lefty Blues says Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. Phantoms was on a movie poll one time, but it didn't make it. So we're gonna start.
Thank goodness.
We're gonna start show and tell with a bang and show off that beautiful new backdrop that Jelani is showing us. Jelani, show and tell. Show us what you've got.
All right, this is my studio now, I guess, until I change it. But it's my bedroom. So behind me are my Avengers figures. It started with the Captain America in the center. I'm gonna move my camera in a second. I can show that, but I'll go around the figures if you want, and I can show you what I got. Moving the camera. That's my face. And if I can get my camera there, there's my core Avengers in the middle. I got even a cooler Avenger sign. I'm terrible with this camera. And then pull back. I've got every villain on the sides. Pretty much every Marvel Legend that I've ever owned so far. I've got a lot of them. But this is just the Avengers side. And there's Stan the Man. If you can see any of what I'm doing. I can't point. But yeah, Stan the Man's in the middle. And I've got a lot of caps and stuff.
How are those attached to the wall there, buddy?
They're just tacks. Mostly, except for the Silver Surfer. I don't know. There's a lot of figures looking at them, man. But one of these days, I mean, it's better to look at it when you're not like, you have to be like here to see these. But it's a menagerie of things that I put together on my wall because I was bored. But that's the main show and tell. Well, not the main show and tell. That just happens to be what I changed my stuff to. And then I have. Well, let me explain this too, because I have a lot of action figures. I'm sitting in a room with tons of action figures. So this isn't even close to what I have. Not even a little bit. They're everywhere. behind me, in front of me. I'm looking at them now, and I'm very proud of them. So as time progresses, sometimes I might be here, sometimes I might be in another section. So to answer some questions in there, I have figures. All my Netflix and 20th Century Fox figures are outside. The movie figures are out front in my living room. So I have a lot of different stuff going on. But I love it. I love it. And it's my joy. I think all of us have it like this. And I blame Brooks. But I want to show this off before you know what? I'm going to show these off later.
Do it. Show one. Do it.
Well, I'm going to show you my masterpiece figures.
Do it.
All right. This is Optimus Prime, the MP10 masterpiece figure. I got this from a good friend. And I got the Matrix out and his X out. He looks awesome. He comes with his trailer, which I have open. But the trailer is pretty cool. It's got the battle station. I have him standing like in front of it. And another portion of my house.
Very cool.
And then finally, I have my favorite figure of all time. This freaking masterpiece, Megatron, the MP36. I got it from my friend as well. He was just selling masterpieces, and I was like, I think I'll get both of those. So
does that one turn into a gun?
This turns into an actual gun.
Dope.
I have him posed, but he's the best posable Megatron ever to live. Ever. This is like the gold standard of Megatrons. And every time I look at a YouTube video, everybody talks about this one more than any other. And so I was like really excited to get this one for a good price. So I transformed him a lot. He's super posable. He's
nice.
Such heroic nonsense.
Yeah. Loved it. That's it.
Nice. Very cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love that we get to see some of your figures behind you, man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is to change things up, you know?
Yeah. I'll move around.
It's about time to start putting all my horror shit back up. You know, it's starting to slowly creep in. If you notice, I got a Mike Myers right here just popped up. I got my Pennywise just popped up. My Mayor McCheese, which is one of the scariest figures I have. Yeah. I mean, imagine this shit showing up in the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so scary.
It'd be really fucking scary.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm serious as shit. Speaking of scary, Brooks, show and tell. Show us what you've got.
I picked this up on a recommendation on Free Comic Book Day. It's this book called Ice Cream Man. It's about some kind of ice cream man who, like, I don't know, he's like a werewolf or something. Something's up with this ice cream man. That's all I know so far.
What'd you think about it, man? Did you like the book?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty good. I might start picking those up now. Start yet another trade collection going. I found this guy the other day at Walmart.
Nice.
Yeah, just kind of one of those lucky instances where you stumble on one.
Does his punch? Does he swing when he punches? Nah,
he's just your average figure. He doesn't have an action feature. He comes with cool. Triclops' sword, but purple.
That is cool. I mean, that's the original figure, basically, without the power move.
We got ours in at work.
Like, I figured that they would have the fist thing be like a clip-on type deal.
Well, it wasn't in the original.
Mr. T's gauntlets.
Yeah. Well, we got those in at the shop this last week, and you know me, I'm a vintage guy. But I will tell you this: that to me looked the closest, at least in package, to the original vintage mold. I mean, it looked exactly like it, colors and everything. Man.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Cool.
I found one last thing at Walmart. Skeletor.
Oh, that's dope, man.
On a fucking horse.
Yeah.
Night Stalker, I think is his name.
That's
I've never seen. I'm not familiar with Night Stalker, but now I want one.
Yeah.
Because he's got he's got two turrets on the sides, each side of his head, and he's got one like on the back.
Yeah. they're mechanical horses. There was a good one and a bad one that you could buy.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know one that I hope they put out, Swiftwind. I want a
Yeah,
Swiftwind.
I'd love a Swiftwind to go with that She-Ra.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
like the Swiftwind should
Yeah.
come with Adora too, like
Right.
how the Sky Sled came with Adam.
That would be cool if
She
they
gets
did
the
that.
sword. Yeah.
You'd be able to take his wings off and turn him back into spirit.
Hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that.
All right, next up for show and tell will be me. Thank you all for being here. So Mike, the voice Matthews, hooked me up with these, but check these out. These are unopened trading card packs from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, second series. I can feel the gum in there.
Oh,
Like,
man.
look at that. Look at that. It's like the wax paper. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
That's series 2, but here's series 1. Look at that.
Oh, that's nuts. I had those.
Unopened, baby.
I had those.
I don't feel no gum in those ones, but there's definitely gum in the other ones. If you ever get me drunk enough with enough super chats one night, I may open one and try to eat the gum.
Do not eat the gum. That's not safe, man. That's
So
definitely
Mike
break
also
apart.
got me my Magic Johnson from the USA Dream Team. So they're releasing all of the Dream Team, and they're all exclusives. And Mike was like, which ones do you want? And I looked at them. They're literally all the same body, but with just different heads. That's bullshit. I'm not buying the same figure, right? So I was like, I just want Magic because he's my favorite, right? So Mike got him for me. There's my Magic Johnson. Look at that. Dream Team, baby. The greatest sports basketball team of all time. 1992 USA Dream Team. Then I got this. I got my Chucky figure from NECA. Right there. Look at that. You can do the pizza face. You can do the happy face. You can do the snarling face, or you can do the Bride of Chucky face, and all the weapons right there, right? How cool is that? And the box looks like the Good Guys thing. And if you look in the background, there's a Good Guys box there. So you can actually put them in the box.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, perfect for Horror Fest, right?
Yeah.
And finally, got this week, my newest Transformer. The only modern toy I really like to collect, aside from horror NECAs, is Hasbro Transformers. I got the G2 Ramjet, y'all. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that. G2 Ramjet makes me want to go find an old school Trapper Keeper.
Oh,
like, oh my God. You know,
that's
me and the
gorgeous.
Seekers. Love it. So that's my show and tell for tonight.
Now, Jelly.
I'm jelly of it. We always get jelly of each other.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is we get to share toys sometimes. Not really, but just, talking about them here. So anyway, Kevlin says that gum might give Robbie superpowers. It just might. It just might. Anyway, that's the end of the show. We really do appreciate it, everybody. Jelani, thanks for joining me here as one of my very first guests. I mean, I have never, ever. Mike wants to correct me. They only did 6. Magic, Bird, MJ, Malone, Pippen, and Robinson. Okay, well, you got to do John Stockton. I mean, that's just not cool. They didn't do Chuck? See, that's I boycotted it. I'm just there for Magic. Anyway, it's the first time I did a Sunday night show with my homies. We mentioned that every once in a while we would just do like a Q&A, just a bullshit situation. But I like this. I thought this was cool, having Jelani and Brooks join me, talking about some of the newer news and things like that. So, Jelani, thanks for joining us. Final thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. Been an avid watcher of your show as of lately because I've had a lot more time. And I tune in now, and I'm very glad that you invited me to be here. So thanks again for that. Brooks, your land shark is here if you want to hang out one day or do something.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get back to you about that, but I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, I forgot too. Yeah.
What days are you off this week?
I'm off tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I know you have to work.
I think I might have to cut hay tomorrow too, so I don't know.
No, you're all good. No, you don't have to do it tomorrow. But
cut some hay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Jelani, come by the shop tomorrow. I got to get you to sign the Bad Batch's exclusive covers.
I will.
Cool.
I will do that.
Now I just got to try to remember to bring them.
But yeah, glad to be here, guys. Thank you for everything. Ben Affleck sucks. There you go.
Well, it's always good to see you on the chats on Rockin Robbie Live on the Sunday night show. And we're taking next week off, but then we're back full board. We're going to be doing a bunch of episodes consecutively. We're just taking a little bit of break before Horror Fest because right now we are preparing for the best Horror Fest we've ever delivered. And we are super excited. Brooks, thank you for being here, man. I used to see you watching in the chats all the time, but I guess you found a new Game of Thrones or something. But appreciate you being here tonight, Brooks.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. And I guess it's as a final thought.
Final thoughts.
I'd have to ask, what if?
Hell yeah. All right. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. We really do appreciate it. Everybody, don't forget, Horror Fest starts September 3rd. There's the lineup. It's super fun. And y'all, you remember that time that we went to the office building in Japan where they filmed all the fight scenes in Super Sentai? And I'm not even kidding. If you watch Super Sentai, it's literally like the same damn office building all the time. So I just thought that was a fun bit. Anyway, Station, thanks for rocking with us.